Hi, welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. Well, Merry Christmas to those who celebrate and a Happy New Year. As this goes live on YouTube, it is New Year's Day, so Happy New Year to everyone. I just wanted to get an episode recorded before I go away on my cruise, which is next week. Um, Otherwise, I'm going to have so much to catch up on that it'll be a super long episode, or I'll miss out on all of these stories and then I'll refer to something later on and it won't make any sense. So I thought that I would sit down and have a chat with you today and just get you up to date on the past 2 weeks. So the week before Christmas and the week after Christmas. And yeah, settle in and we'll have a chat. So I had to do some more fussing with Evie's shade shelter. It became just not right. I had it against the fence and it was flapping around way too much. And it wasn't enough space for her to get into. It just didn't feel right. And it wasn't any shelter from the weather from other angles. So I took that down and I still use the canopy and I've made it more like a tent. I probably have to go out now and kind of pop it in, sort of give it a bit more tension again. It kind of loosens off after a little while. But I do have it set up now like a tent and she has been using it, which is great. I've seen her under there in both bad weather and in sunny weather. So she is enjoying that space, which is really good. I was worried originally that she wasn't going to be happy to use it. And even in the wind, it goes up and down on her and she doesn't seem to mind. Although I did catch her actually standing on it at one point and even weeing on it. But mostly she's been underneath, so that's good. The rest of my week before Christmas was reasonably quiet. The rest of the family went away for a hiking holiday, so I was here on the farm by myself, which I don't mind at all. It's nice and quiet, and can sort of do things on my own schedule and potter around. It is nice to have everyone here to have the help and also, for the social aspect and for having family dinners and all that kind of thing. I really do like that. But some little quiet time by myself is nice too. So I was busy morning and night with all of the animal chores. But apart from that, it was reasonably relaxed. That was until the family came home, which I was so happy to see them and they had a really good time up until my sister fell and hurt her knee quite badly. She cut it open and ended up having to be in a splint. And then the following day, Adam tested positive to COVID. So it was not, in the end, a relaxing homecoming. And our Christmas turned out to be not what we had expected. Thank goodness we are not real traditionalists when it comes to Christmas. So we really didn't mind all that much. Everything was already bought in terms of gifts and in terms of food. So we just went with the flow. It was a little bit different, but not terrible. We all got to be together. It just wasn't entirely what we had expected. But since we don't have any real strong family traditions or ways that we normally do things, we just went with how it went and it was totally fine. Some really fabulous gifts. Not that that's what's important. I did also give some fabulous gifts, I thought. So it's just about sharing and sort of showing your love to your family. I did get a subscription to Ply magazine, which is really great. A Turkish drop spindle, which I have started to use and I'm not great at it, to be honest, but I will show you that in the new year once I've had a little bit more practice with it. I also got some really great stitch markers and some things from T2. A couple of other things too, but they're sort of like the crafty kind of things. And I also got tickets to Hamilton, which was such a shock and a surprise, but really great. And the performance was for this week just gone. So, because it closes really soon. So we're really quite excited to go to that. It was unbelievable. I enjoyed it so much. I guess we all had really high expectations and we've been talking about going earlier and with the whole lockdown and everything and having listened to the soundtrack so much and having watched the original Broadway cast on Disney Plus, it was like, oh, do we really want to go and maybe spoil like what we think it is, but 100% worth it. It was unbelievable. So well done. The cast were amazing. The performances were really great. The stage production was, it was just everything. I really have no words. It was just such a good show, and so happy that we did end up going before it finishes here in Melbourne. I've also been thinking about my packing list for my holiday, starting to get clothes out, especially things like having a formal night and having to find a cocktail dress to wear. So I had to get out my box of pretty dresses and try things on and make sure that I had something that was going to be appropriate. I'm not sure that it's going to be exactly what I was hoping for, because I think there's going to be some additional restrictions based on that thing that's been keeping us locked down for a couple of years. But hopefully it will still go ahead, and that I'll be able to get the most out of the experience, despite probably having to wear a mask on the ship most of the time. Maybe I'll just spend my time outside, and that way I won't have to worry so much. So I've been getting my list ready. I did a little bit of shopping to get motion sickness tablets and sun cream, and I bought myself a few packing cubes, a few sort of little travel things, just to make things easier and so that I could fit more clothes into my suitcase. I know I'm not going for very long, but I do want to have enough options. The weather's going to sort of be hot and cool, so it's going to be hard to sort of pack for the gamut of what might end up happening. I feel like I've got myself reasonably prepared now. A few days to go, the last minute things to get washed and prepared. And yeah, I'm excited to go on a holiday. I really need a proper break. And the other big thing that happened this week was that the vet came out to the farm for Vito's castration surgery. That was yesterday. I was quite stressed about it. I mean, it's horrible to have to do that, but I think long term it's going to make things much easier for me and my little flock here. I'm not wanting to breed, and he was getting a little bit aggressive, so this had to be done. And since I didn't know when I got him that that was the case, and not until he got shorn that he still had one of his testicles, it was something that had to be taken care of. So I've just checked on him now. He's a little bit tender, and a little bit wary of me too, I think. I put out hay, and it took him a little while to come up to the fence to say hello. And I don't blame him for that, honestly. Yesterday was big. The vet arrived around lunchtime. They had to shave his neck and put an injection in there for like a general anesthetic. They also did a local anesthetic on his hindquarters as well. And then they did the surgery. I did not watch. I had someone help me, and the vet brought a second vet out as well to assist, because he's big and needed to be flipped on his back, and that's quite a difficult thing to do for like a 50-kilo sheep with horns. But once the surgery was done and he was still like unconscious in the shed shelter area, I went in and I gave him a pat, and he started to open his eyes. And then I stayed with him through until he was able to stand up and walk around again, which took quite a while. I think they'd given him quite a large dose of drugs to keep him asleep. So it took him quite a while to be steady on his feet. I gave him some grain in some water so that he got some hydration and some food. Part of the reason he was also not stable on his feet was that he had been isolated with no food and water for a while in the shelter. So I wanted to make sure that he had eaten and drank before I let him back out, so that he had that in his system. We've got an antiseptic spray that we need to spray on the wound as it heals. It also helps to repel the flies. So just got to keep an eye on that for a little bit, and hopefully everything goes according to plan, and he heals well and is back to being just Vito, normal, cute, my little champ in a big form. Vito. He's still going to have to be isolated from Evie for 4 to 6, maybe 8 weeks. I'm just going to see how the paddock goes, as well as how he's going. She may already be pregnant, but they can say that the testosterone can stay in the system for quite a while after the surgery. So it's better to be cautious and wait longer rather than shorter to put them all back together. So at the moment, I have Vito by himself and Hurley and Evie together. I'd originally left Hurley in with Vito, but the whole, nature, survival of the fittest thing, Hurley sensed that Vito was not quite himself, and he started to headbutt Vito's wound. Not having that. Can't have him breaking the stitches or hurting Vito while he's in that state. So I've moved Hurley back in with Evie, and so far so good on that. I took food over this morning, and he didn't jump the fence. I still have that higher section in there. So hopefully, if I now go to Hurley first with food, I should be able to manage the hierarchy that's going on there, and hopefully keep them all happy and well fed and well watered, and have Vito heal properly. There's a lot going on, but then I'm going on holiday, so I'm recruiting the family and a friend to help to look after the sheep while I am away, and I feel confident that everything will be taken care of, so I can actually turn off and relax. I've been doing a lot less business-wise in these past couple of weeks, just sort of shutting down for Christmas and New Year. And as of today, the online shop is closed and it will reopen when I get back from my holiday. I just don't want the extra pressure of having open orders that I can't action. So it's better that I just close the shop and just wait until I get back. I did do some fun dyeing a couple of weeks ago where I used up all of the little remnants in the bottom of my dye powder bottles. So I can show you the results of that dyeing. And I've got some inspiration now from this technique that I used, and also from some of the colors that I produced, to come up with a new series of colors for next year, which I will start to work on early in the new year. And I'm quite excited about it. So look ahead for that as I start to dye up those new colorways. Here's what I came up with. So here is the first batch of colors. This is a good representation of each of those skeins. So I just had a few sort of random size bits of DK yarn already wound up. So I just popped them into a pot. This one's got greens and blues and yellows, some pink. And then the other one that I did, it's a big 200-gram skein, and it's got blues and yellows and greens. Again, it's sort of a mixture of lots of colors, and I just sort of poured it into sections with colors opposite each other on the color wheel next to each other, just to play around with the colors a little bit, and that's what I came up with. So yeah, these have given me some ideas about some colorways for the future, and I'm quite excited. Last time I recorded, I showed you that I was almost finished my maze. I had to start on a third skein to get the sleeve finished. I am completely done with it. It has been blocked and it turned out so great. I have worn this. I actually wore it to Hamilton and it went really well with a nice long black skirt. Super comfortable to wear, fits really well. I made no changes to the pattern. I really, really liked knitting this and it looks super cute on. So I really highly recommend this. It is Maze by Amelie Marie Designs, or is it Marie Amelie Designs? I keep getting that confused. The information will be below. And it is knitted out of my tendril 4-ply yarn in the lilac colorway. So now to what I'm working on. I still have some socks on the needles, just pottering along on those, not a ton of progress to show. I picked up my Ramuri once I had finished with the maze, and I have now split for the sleeves on that and working away on the body. So it is starting to really take shape now too. You can see the mosaic there at the top. I've probably still got, I've got a fair bit of the body still to do. I think it's going to be quite a bit of a longer version. And then the sleeves, I'm thinking that what I will do is use this contrast color on the cuff and on the bottom hem as well, just to bring that color back in a little bit. And these are just going to be short sleeves on this one. I'm actually enjoying the whole short sleeve top at the moment, with the hope that I can get a bit more wear out of them. So that's that. I also started a brioche scarf, the Swirl Scarf by Tennis Fibre Arts. I'm using 2 DK skeins. It is a 2-color brioche. I'm using Millpost in the sea blue, and I'm using a Tandy colorway. It doesn't have a name. I bought it from Bendigo a few years ago. I'm just hand wound it, but it's really pretty. Lots of multiple colors in that one. And this is what I've done so far. So that's with the color side showing, and that is with the teal or sea blue showing. So what will happen now is that this line will then come back this way, so it'll go up and like this, up and down the scarf. So yeah, really loving how these colors are working together in the brioche. I think I like that side better. And I'm thinking about projects to take on the cruise. And part of it, they said we needed 3 or 3.5 mil needles for a project that's in the goodie bag. So I looked in my set of needles and I didn't have any points of that size. Of course I didn't. I do, but they're just in a project. So I grabbed that project out and I thought, well, perhaps I should try and finish it before I go on the cruise. So it's a Novum that I've had on the needles forever. The pattern is by Martina Bem, and I've knit 2 of these before, and this is the 3rd one. And this was actually intended for a person that I worked with like 6 years ago now. I feel a bit bad about this, but my intention is still to give this to her. So I am up to the ruffled edge. It is ginormous. I cannot even really show. I think part of the reason that I kept putting this off is because it's absolutely massive. I've got it on a few cables all connected together, and it is black, and it is lace weight. It's been a journey to get this done. I now have, I think, 4 rounds to go, but they take a really, really long time. But it's going to be absolutely beautiful when it's finished and blocked out. So if I can get this project done this week before I go away, that would be super exciting, to get these cables back and to get these tips back. So that is my intention, so that I get these needles back for the cruise project. And then I'm still trying to decide what else I'm going to take with me on the cruise. Definitely socks, but I'm just not sure what else. I'm going to print out a few different patterns, take a few different balls, and maybe just start casting on. I will take my brioche with me. So I've got that project because it's not actually too big to take. I don't want to take this because it's quite bulky. I don't really want to take the Remuri because it's, again, getting quite big. I sort of want some smallish projects to deal with. So it might end up being some baby items, or say a scarf or a small shawl, something like that, sort of one skein projects that are not going to take up a ton of space, because honestly, I'm not sure how much I'm going to end up crafting either, and I just want something that I can be busy with my hands, just have, but a few different options, because I don't want to have just one project. Can't just have one project. Well, that's it for another week, and I'm going to be taking next week off. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks on the farm. Bye.